When you know that you are queer, but your favorite drink is beer, that's gayish. You can bottom without stopping, but you can't stand going shopping, that's gayish. Oh, gayish, you're probably gayish. Well, life's just too short for narrow stereotypes, so it's gayish. We're also gayish. It's Gayish with Mike and Kyle. Hello, everyone in the podcast universe. This is Gayish,
the podcast that puts a gay exclamation point at the end of a number to make it a factorial.
That's fucking great.
Yeah.
Did you write that one?
I did.
Oh my God. I fucking love that.
Thanks, Mike.
It's a math joke and it's gay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like so good.
Oh, wow. And this is the episode.
I think the episode's over.
Yeah, we did it.
We did it. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Getz.
We're here to bridge the gap between sexuality and actuality. And today I almost forgot to say the thing because I was so impressed by your joke.
Wow. This one was a winner. Mark it down in the yearbook.
Yep. Mark it down. Took us 411 episodes for you to say something funny.
Got one right. We're going to talk about crocheting.
We're going to talk about crochet.
Yeah. And we're going to have a guest on who knows more about crocheting than we do.
Well, Andy has an accent.
And has an accent.
That's really the only reason I'm in it to win it here.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Crochet. Knots and
tying things with hooks and yeah.
But first. I guess we're just going to chat for a little bit.
Do you want to chat for a little bit, Mike?
I don't know.
What's
Everything
going
just
on?
Feels so sudden.
Oh, you say that every time, though.
I know, but
I think you would.
Here's the thing. I would like. Hey, Kyle.
Hey, Mike.
I would like more like 100 wordses and feedbacks that aren't just "Hey, good job, guys."
Yeah.
And I mean, "Hey, good job, guys" would be good too.
Yeah.
I just
more so that we can help fill our intro.
I don't like to start the news before minute 4. And that's wrong. Minute 3.
Okay.
We run a tight ship here.
We got places to be. We got shit to do. What's going on with you, Mike?
Oh no, this isn't the personal news section, Kyle.
I know that's in our Patreon episodes, but
we are in the process of moving. That'll be fun.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be in the new studio.
Oh, yeah.
shortly.
We should talk about there's going to be a new studio space that is going to be in Mike's new home.
Yes.
And so hopefully the episodes will sound completely the same to y'all, but to us, it'll be completely different.
We're looking for decor to make our studio happen because I think it's going to be on camera more, too, because it's going to be cute.
Yeah.
So more crochet penises.
Yeah.
And more Star Trek porn. That would be good.
Because you've gotten that as wall art.
Just like send us in your stuff.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be nice to decorate the new podcast space.
Okay. Here we go. Now it's the news. Shut your mouth hole. It's time for your ear holes. News. Oh, Jesus Christ, Kyle.
Yeah, what's going on?
Well, okay, so first, we at this moment do not know who the president is going to be in this country.
Yep, we record on Sundays and it's the Sunday before the election.
And we may or may not know when this episode drops.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say. I just want to say I'm anxious now.
Yeah.
And expect I will be anxious next week as well when this episode drops. The anxiety never ends.
Yeah. Boy, howdy.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason I take my meds.
Yeah, good.
Did you take your meds today?
Did I? I forget.
Okay. That's good.
Much to your chagrin, I did.
Okay.
I think take my meds.
Okay. So it's you. We sound very focused already, so I can tell you took your meds.
Doing so great.
Yeah.
Yeah. News the first.
Yeah.
So, Fred Shijapansky. I'm gonna go with Shijapansky. Shijapansky.
That sounds like easily made fun of name. Poor guy.
Shijapansky. Fred Shijapansky, affectionately known as Mr. Fred, has been dismissed by St. Francis Catholic Church in Traverse City, Michigan, after an anonymous letter alerted church officials that he's been married to a dude for 4 years.
He was secretly married to a dude. Secretly very gay.
Yep. He for 34 years was the music director at the Michigan Catholic Church.
Half of music directors are gay. This should not come as a surprise to anyone.
I wouldn't think so. Especially like that time that he 4 years ago disappeared for a while.
Yeah.
and
posted a bunch of pictures with him and another dude on Instagram and then came back.
Yeah. So Bob Holden, who's a member of the parish there, said, quote, "He's extremely talented. He's perfect on the piano. He has perfect pitch. And because of him, I look forward to going to church every week. I'm divorced. Do I get thrown out next?" And this is the hypocrisy, right? The Catholic Church is in no position to be casting disparagements on the sexual proclivities of anybody.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, apparently there's been demonstrations outside the church. There were supporters carrying signs that said "Love, not hate" and "Fired, not retired," because the church tried to say that he retired. That's
a weird lie people can see right through that shit.
Yeah. His husband said, Bill Thompson wrote on Facebook, quote, "Those who know Fred and I know that we have been together for 32 years. This last week, after 35 years of service to the church, he was terminated with no severance because we legally married 4 years ago. We did this as it was COVID, and we wanted to protect our rights legally. Never flaunted it, never had a celebration." Yeah, anyway, there's a GoFundMe for them, and this whole, I don't know, fuck religion, I guess.
Yeah.
Fuck that church.
Fuck that church, for sure. You're right. To cast aspersions on what people do sexually is such hypocrisy.
Yeah.
Especially when the people that you're describing in this news segment are doing it consenting.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And good luck finding a music director that isn't a gay dude.
Yeah.
You kind of just got to hold your nose at that one, I think.
Yeah, I think you're a little bit out of luck if you're trying to find a straight music director.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to follow that story because I'm interested to see what happens. News the second.
Great.
Beau French, who is the chair of the Tarrant County Republican Party in Texas, is a dickbag fuckface asshole nominee.
Ooh, what happened?
So he is apparently, that's the nation's most populous Republican county, and he has repeatedly used slurs, and his party seems to have no problem with his language.
Oh, well, sure.
So there was a Democratic ad on X, and there were a bunch of male voters on it, and he on X posted, quote, "This is the gayest ad in history. I guarantee every one of these dudes is a homo. There's literally nothing manly about any of them." And then later, when Representative Liz Cheney came out in support of Kamala Harris, he posted, quote, "Never go full R word." And then in a poll, he posted a poll and he said, "Do you think that people who believe Harris's policies are better for Americans than Trump's policies are? Choose one. Ignorant, a liar, R word, or gay."
Jesus Christ. He's not even this was not a slip of the tongue. This is repeated incidents where he's using the R word and using gay derogatorily.
Yep. So much that there was a precinct committee, precinct chair, PCO, precinct committee officer, Sheena Rodriguez, who wrote an email to other party leaders and then sent a copy to the Texas Tribune saying French needs to apologize for his, quote, "outright vile and dehumanizing language and resign." Mr. French's counterproductive and outright destructive rhetoric is detrimental to the Tarrant County GOP. Conservative members, supporters, and constituents of the Tarrant County GOP deserve a new, humble, respectful, and productive leader, one who is capable of being a decent human being. And they jumped all over her, of course.
Oh, God. Yeah, of course.
Carlos Tercios, a precinct chair, said, quote, "It's not appropriate to create fights within the party a week before Election Day."
It's not appropriate to say the R word. No, don't blame her for calling someone out on his shitty behavior. Blame the shitty behavior. Jesus.
Yeah. Another one, Larry Carpenter Jr. said that she was, quote, "trying to censor free speech." That's not something that individuals can do to each other, by the way.
That's true.
The First Amendment protects you from the government limiting what you can say.
And also, freedom of speech is not freedom from consequences.
Yep. Anyway, also wrote, quote, I would highly recommend you switch parties. All of this evidence you sent to me is gay, R-word, ignorant, and wastes everyone's time.
Jesus, double down. Jesus Christ. What an asshole.
Yeah. Just so everyone knows. Don't use the R-word.
Don't use the R-word.
Yeah.
Agreed. That's the lesson here. Also, Republicans are so fucking loyal. Like, you can do anything you want as a Republican, and other Republicans have to support you. There's no room to call out other Republicans. There's no accountability. It fucking sucks.
Yep.
Because I don't think it used to be like that. I think it's been since Trump that you can kind of do whatever you want.
Yeah, I think it's gotten worse. Trump and I think Mitch McConnell actually gets some credit for this horse shit of just like, it doesn't like bend any rule that you have to in order to win and get your way. Like there's something there. Anyway, I don't know. Fuck Republicans. Fuck the GOP. Fuck this country if they elected one. Okay, great.
Yeah.
News the last.
Yeah.
Former President Donald Trump's running mate, Ohio U.S. Senator J.D. Vance, claimed during a more than 3-hour-long appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast on Thursday that he and Trump would win the, quote, normal gay guy vote.
I saw this. Well, first of all, did you listen to more of Joe Rogan's podcast?
I had enough of it last week.
Okay. I didn't know if I needed to give you a hug or anything. Like that's a lot to deal with.
Right. Oh my God. And then Kamala Harris, the Harris campaign said that she would be happy to appear on the Joe Rogan Experience, but they would have to come to her because she's very busy running for president and being the vice president of this country. And they said no, she would have to come to Austin.
Wow.
And so then they're trying to spin that as her being afraid to go on the show. She's like, no, I'm just not going to your stupid ass studio.
Right.
Anyway, whatever. Fuck. J.D. Vance's comments were delivered alongside normal critiques of the LGBTQ plus rights advocacy in this country. He said that Trump's appeal would resonate with LGBTQ plus people who just wanted to be left the hell alone. He referenced an unnamed gay friend who reportedly took issue with terminology like two-spirit and found LGBTQ plus terminology around identity and inclusivity unnecessary. Quote, I think that, frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if me and Trump won just the normal gay guy vote. And what is a normal gay guy? That's the question. Because I think that he just means white, cis, straight acting.
Yeah.
He means Pete Buttigieg, who's not going to vote for Trump. Just
right. Yeah. No, that's not true. I know exactly. You know what he means when he's talking about that normal gay guy, which is shitty. And that's part of what we try to break down is that you don't have to fit into any kind of expectations. You don't have to be gayer than you are or not as gay as you are or anything. And no, you're not winning that vote. Most gay people see right through what you're doing and care about the trans community and do want to be left alone. And so fucking leave us alone and leave our community alone and stop attacking us. Like, I don't know how he believes that they're just the party that's leaving LGBT people alone, because that's literally the opposite of what all Republicans are doing right now.
They don't just not give a fuck about us. They actively give a fuck about us in the wrong way.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
Like yeah.
And it's always, you mentioned it, it's always an unnamed gay friend.
Right.
It's always, oh, I know a gay person that's fed up with this shit or something. And it's like, no, you don't.
Right.
No, you don't. You made that person up. No, you don't know a gay person. Like, no gay person is supporting you through this. Like, you just don't have a gay friend. You're just lying.
Yep. People are saying, Kyle. People are saying. Well, that's the news.
That's the news. Speaking of what people are saying that now's a great time to sign up for our Patreon. We, again, don't have any new Patreon members to announce. So that's 2 weeks in a row.
That's 2 weeks in a row. That's never happened.
I don't think that's ever happened before.
Maybe we've lost our edge, Kyle. Maybe this is where we quit.
Maybe this is the last episode.
We can't afford to do this anymore.
Oh no. Well, it's a sad, soft whimper at the end, I guess. If you want to sign up for bonus content, if you're caught up on episodes, there are 60 bonus episodes, over 60 bonus episodes, and you get bonus segments if you join at the $5 a month level. If you join at the $2 a month level, you get ad-free episodes a day early, which is really sweet. And you get to attend our quarterly happy hour. So you have to, if you're a Patreon member hearing this on the Wednesday that it comes out, the happy hour is tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. That is on November 6th. At 6 p.m. Pacific.
Yeah.
And there are other benefits on Patreon, like using Mike's hole.
Use my hole.
That's something more people need to do. You get a discount on the merch store.
Amen.
You can come up with plan out your own episode. If you join at the $50 a month level, there are lots of cool benefits. So check it out at patreon.com/Gayish podcast.
Do it.
Support us.
Do you want to talk about crochet?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
How knowledgeable on crocheting this was crafting was a survey request, so maybe this is one in a series of various crafting episodes that we could do.
Okay.
I don't know that we've done any like crafting things like this before. This might be breaking new grounds for us.
Yeah. So I took up crochet for a hot minute.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, during when?
This was years ago now.
Okay.
Pre-pandemic, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. I was thinking this would make for a good COVID hobby to pick up.
The D&D girls, Carly and Shreya, both like walked me through some stuff, and I was very bad at it. Like I made a square that's like, a 4x4 square, and that's about all I could get through.
That makes sense for starting out something brand new, right?
I know, but I wanted to be immediately good at it.
Oh, yeah, I know. It's hard starting something brand new like that, starting a new hobby. And sucking at it at first and just having to like learn and power through and keep going because you want to make something real adorable like right away.
Right. Or at least not ugly. That's true. It doesn't have to be adorable, but just not ugly.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can find the picture of the square that I made because I have it saved somewhere.
Okay. Is it a good looking square?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm vocally self-critical in that I wrote on the picture like arrows, like WTF. This is where I fucked up. And we can post that to social media, right?
Sure.
Because I'm sure people want to see my crochet abilities. That's what we're really here for.
People want to see your square. Where's the square, Mike?
Where's the square? But okay, speaking of, I hope he's not a square. We're going to talk to this dude.
We're going to talk to Zac Doar, or also known as Crochet Me Zaddy, who hosts the Hookup podcast and has a big social media following where he crochets.
Yeah, and answers lots of questions and interviews other crocheters. And he's not from here.
He's not from the United States, as can be heard by his accent. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So let's take a break. Not crochet anything, and when we come back, we'll talk to Zac.
Yeah, sounds good.
You want to take a break?
Let's take a break.
Let's take a break.
This is the part where Mike and Kyle take a break.
Are we back?
We're back.
We're back.
We're here with Zac Doar, or also known as Crochet Me Zaddy. What's up, Zac?
Yeah. Hello. Very funny. Just on that note, a lot of people like businesses or collaborations when they email me, they're like, "Hi, Zaddy," and I'm always like, "Oh, hello." It is Zac, but sure, call me what you want.
Okay, your social media handles are Crochet Me Zaddy. Why Zaddy and not Daddy?
That's because it was the nickname. So way back in the day, I think that's when the word Zaddy was first like popping up in popular media. It's because I was always called Zac D because of my last name, and so everyone kept calling me like Zac D, which turned into Zaddy, and then it just kind of blended in while that popular name of Zaddy was popping out.
Gotcha.
Okay, so there's the nickname thing, but also like, is that part of your identity now? Like, do you think of yourself as a Zaddy, or has it blossomed into Zaddiness for you?
No, it was just a bit of a joke. Like when I was first picking the name, I wanted to have the word crochet in there because I thought it'd be smart if people wanted to search up a crochet account, they would put in the word crochet, so they would find me. And then I was trying to think of like a funny, like memorable name, and like I don't know if a lot of people who follow me realize it was actually a pun off like Choke Me Daddy.
Yeah.
So I just made it as a joke, being like Crochet Me Zaddy, and then that's where it led from, and it just continued on, and now I've kind of got too far into it that I can't change it. But I don't think a lot of people clock that, but that is the pun of where it started.
Well, since we're talking about your social medias, talk about what kind of content you put up on your social media in case people don't know who you are or follow you yet.
So the way I describe myself is a crochet content creator, and a lot of that is around either cracking jokes about creating plushies, which is my main thing I do in crochet, is I crochet plushies. So I'm normally cracking a lot of jokes around there. Otherwise, I'm providing little tutorials, or I'm just showing off like new designs that I sell myself as a small business owner.
And I can see your plushies behind you. So
yes,
do you have just a million plushies these days?
Oh, it's actually insane. Look, I'll tilt this down for you, but like that whole desk behind me is just like a pile of plushies. It gets a bit wild in my room. It's like I call it the studio, but it is also just like my bedroom, and I angled the camera this way. But there's just like I can pick up anything, and just they're everywhere. They're also up above the camera. I'm surrounded.
Let's talk about your history. Like we'll get into how you got to crochet in a little bit. And you're currently in Australia, living in Australia.
Yes,
but you're a Kiwi. You grew up in New Zealand. Where did you grow up?
So I grew up in the north of New Zealand in a little place called Whangarei, and then I moved to Wellington, which is the capital of New Zealand, which is a more like artsy, liberal kind of city. Mm-hmm. And that's where I did university and things, and then eventually made my way to Melbourne, Australia, once I grew out of Wellington. But Melbourne's also just known as Bigger Wellington. So it's just like, yeah, just finding the liberal cities, I guess.
I spent some time in Melbourne. It was Christmas time in like a long time ago now, 2005, I think. Lovely city. I loved it there.
Yeah. It's a really good vibe here. Everyone's very connected, and all like you feel it in the city that everyone is just working towards the same goal of having like a very happy-go-lucky city.
Yeah,
it's really lovely.
That's adorable.
That's sort of your arc. When did you pick up crochet?
So I picked up crochet in 2018. So a lot of people picked it up over COVID, like when they really got into their hobbies and things. But I picked it up beforehand. I was back when I was working corporate. I was just, I don't know, meandering around the office as I did as a really good corporate worker. And I stumbled across a club called the Stitch and Bitch Club. I used to work in HR, so it's kind of funny that there was a bunch of HR ladies in a club called the Stitch and Bitch Club.
Well, all women in HR are HR nightmares, I've come to find.
Oh yeah.
Depends whose side you're on. So I stumbled across the Stitch and Bitch Club, and I was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Not accusatory, as in curious. I was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" They're like, "Oh, knitting, crochet." And I was like, "Oh, can I learn?" So jumped down, sat with them, and then they taught me how to crochet. Then I went back to my desk with my new ball of yarn and a hook that they gave to me. And then one of the guys in my team was like, "Isn't that for women?" I was like, oh God. I was like, "No, Danny, no." So that kind of comment that from my coworker being like, "Oh, isn't that for women?" That kind of pushed me to be like, you know what? I'm going to get more into this out of spite.
That's a good reason to get into any hobby, mostly out of spite.
Yeah, even the creation of Crochet Me Zaddy was kind of out of spite in a little bit. There's so many bits of this which is all out of spite.
Wait, how so? What was the impetus for creating Crochet Me Zaddy?
So when I first started Crochet Me Zaddy was because my boyfriend at the time, he wanted to start like a food hobby account, and this is back in COVID. This is right in the first lockdown. He was like, "Oh, I'm gonna start like a hobby account for food," and I was like, "Oh, I want one too." And then I just really wanted to like beat him at it and just like prove that I could do it. And so I created one for my crochet, which I wasn't even doing as like a full-on hobby or anything. I was like, "I'll just do it because I don't know, I can't. And then so I started doing it, and then when I was like got more and more known and things, someone at my work was like, "Oh, you can't make money out of that," and I was like, "You know what? I can." And then out of spite, it's now my full-time job.
Wow, that's impressive.
I'm a very determined person to prove people wrong.
Yeah.
So how serious are you about like doing it more because of comments from a coworker? Like, did it speak to you from the get-go, or did you have to sort of learn to love it because you were trying to make a point?
I mean, I always knew that I was really into crafts. Like when I was little, I used to do cross stitch with my mum and things like that, and so I knew I was going to get into it. But it was just kind of that comment there was just like sitting in the back of my head, and I was like, nah, this is like, I can really show you what I can do with this, and like this little power that I've just gained right now. And I was like, so I've already had like a history with crafts, but I was really determined to be like, men can craft too, which is such a commonly spoken point that people want to talk about.
So like from your very first Stitch and Bitch session where they give you your hook and your yarn, how long from then to you thought to yourself, I'm pretty okay at this, I'm proficient at this, I'm good at this?
So that was 2018, and then it was like 2 years of me making the exact same square, and I used to make them on the bus to work and see how fast I could do it and things like that. So it wasn't like that creative at that point. It was just like a mindless hobby. But then it was the 2020 lockdowns. Like I always wanted to make a doll out of it. Like I was really into Pokemon and things, so I was like, oh, I want to make a little Pokemon. And then because we had all this time on our hands, I was like, I'm gonna do it. So I ordered in all the things to get into it, and started having we'd have our team meeting, and then one of the ladies who taught me how to crochet would meet after the daily team meetings for another 5-10 minutes to talk about our crochet projects, and she would like coach me. Getting into it. So yeah, it was really cute.
Hold on. Favorite Pokemon? What's your favorite Pokemon?
Chikorita.
Okay. Yeah.
I know, a bit random. I've actually got like a gay Chikorita right above you. Like I call it the gay one. It's just like little rainbow.
Aww. Adorable.
Yeah.
Well, and then I was going to ask what do you think is the gayest Pokemon, and is it the same answer?
I don't know if it would be Chikorita. I feel like it might be like Mr. Mime.
Oh yeah. But that's
he's pretty camp.
Isn't he like the UK? I don't think you can get him here. Regional? Yeah. Derek is a Pokemon like wizard.
Go. Oh yeah. I think it'll be Mr. Mime. There's a few others out there. The amount of times I've searched up which Pokemon is gay and tried to figure out which one it is, but they don't have like any full-on mascot.
Oh yeah. I think the Rainbow Ponyta is my bet for gayest. It's a unicorn. What's gayer than a unicorn?
What is gayer than a unicorn? That's very true.
Yeah. I know another fun one is Azurill and Marill as like a trans icon.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I see the nodding.
Yeah.
Because when you evolve it, there was an accidental glitch in the game where it changed from male to female or female to male or something like that. So everyone was like, and it's also in the trans colors.
Oh.
Completely accidental. It's kind of like how the Babadook became like a gay icon.
Yeah.
Wasn't intentional, but there we are.
So you mentioned that you had done like cross stitching and other crafting. What is it about crocheting that like maintained your interest and led it to you investing so much kind of yourself into it?
That is a good question. I don't know. I think it was just like I think for me, I already had like a little bit of a love for plushies. I don't know what it was about them. Like me and my friend used to always just like buy a random plushie when we went to the big kind of Target store and stuff. And that was just like a joke we always did, that we had $5, buy a little doll and bring it home with us as like a memory. I don't know. And so I ended up starting like collecting a few of these random things. And I was like, you know what? I could probably make these. Like once I learned how to crochet and then saw the connection there, I think that's where it started building and making the link. I was like, oh, I could make whatever I want. And so I have.
But like you mentioned, making that square for a couple years before you got into other patterns. That's a long time and a lot of commitment and a lot of work to get the basics down. I don't know that I could take 2 years of making a square.
Yeah, I don't know what I was doing. Looking back at that, I think I was doing other hobbies at the time, so I couldn't like commit fully. And I was always like, oh, this could be something fun that I want to like eventually do, and it was always in the back of my mind, I want to make a little Pokemon doll out of this, but I just never did it. I don't know why I didn't, and why I was just making squares rather than just focusing on this one thing. Who knows? But that was my COVID prompt, was to finally do something that I always wanted to do, which I think is a very common feeling.
All of these dolls and figures that I see look like highly custom. Did you start with like plans that you got from somewhere, or you work it out yourself?
No, these are all my own designs behind me. Yeah. So after a while, you start understanding like different shapes and things. I don't know how much into detail I can go explaining how it all works, but essentially you start in a little spiral, and either you can increase in like the same increments and it can make the spiral go wider, but if you don't go in that same increments, it stops it making going wider and it just starts like rounding out. And that's essentially the same for every single shape that you make, and then you join all the shapes together depending on how much you increase or decrease or not do any of those to make those certain shapes.
Well, it sounds simple when you say it like that.
Yeah. Anybody can do it.
It's like, yeah, I'm like, I think it is a lot more simple than people think it is. Like the hardest part to crochet is just picking it up and learning it. Once you know how to do any, like a stitch or just how to hold your hook and yarn, you can do anything. And then after that, it's just fine tuning.
Okay, so like basic stuff. What's the difference between crochet and like knitting? Because they're not the same, I guess.
No, not at all. So the most basic difference between crochet and knitting: crochet is with a hook, and that's just the singular hook, and then knitting is the 2 needles. But if you're going to go a bit more technical, knitting is a bunch of like active stitches that you're passing over to each other on each needle. Whereas crochet is like one singular active stitch that you can go like omnidirectionally, so it makes it really good for making plushies and things. But if you're doing knitting and things, because it's such a high amount, you're doing some kind of like a mass amount of stitching, it's really good for making like a lot of uniform stitches, which is why it looks really nice on clothing.
Which case, I think I've been lying the whole time. I think I did knitting, not crochet.
Oh, okay. Did you have 2?
I had 2 needles.
Okay.
See,
you learned something.
I learned something about myself today, Kyle.
You learned you're bad at knitting, not crochet.
Yeah.
Great. So what was the first plushie you made that Pokemon that you were striving to make, or what was the first thing you made?
No, it's this ugly little cactus. This is Mrs. Prickles.
Mrs. Prickles. Okay.
This is Mrs. Prickles. I decided that the first thing I need to make needs to be something simple and something that I don't mind being ugly or whatnot. So I made a pincushion because I can just destroy it as much as I want to.
Yeah.
And it still lives with me, so it's doing its job well.
I want to go back to like the comment that, men in crafting. Do you get that comment a lot, like on socials or whatever?
Yeah, it's really common. Like the amount of times that, like, it's mainly on like Facebook or areas like that, you'll get comments being like, oh, it's so nice to see a man crafting. And I've been getting that for the past like 4 years that I've been online doing this, like maybe once a week, being like, oh, it's so lovely to see a man doing this. Or you'll see comments, you'll see it in some posts that people do where they're like, hey, crochet girlies, let's like get all our handmade businesses and follow each other. And I'm like, well, I mean, I could identify as a crochet girly depending who's talking to me and whatnot, but like, I was like, oh, okay, guess that's not me. Or the other one is when I'm in the craft store, the store assistant is like, hey, like, can I help you with something? Who are you shopping for? I'm like, me. like, I'm not lost in here, don't worry.
They assume you're buying it for someone else.
Yeah. It's that, that meme, the one that's like, I know more than you kind of.
Yeah.
That's how I kind of feel at those moments. But
yeah.
It's just those little micro things.
Is it reassuring? Is it nice to like get positive comments about being a male in knitting or in crafting? Or are you over it?
It's largely positive. Like those comments that are like, oh, it's so nice to see a man crafting and things. It makes me feel good to be some kind of like representation in a way. But then there is like a bit of a downside to that where as a content creator who's doing like relatively well in the area, there's a lot of people who view my content as only sticking out because I am a male. and they'll be like, oh, he's only like popular because he sticks out like a sore thumb. So therefore people want to follow him. And so it kind of like, I mean, I can see that point, but it kind of does put like a little bit of a stain in some senses on your actual art or the work that I'm doing. I'm like, I am good at this. Like, but yeah, shouldn't really disqualify it.
Do people presume that you're gay? Like that's the other side of the coin, right? That like anytime a dude is involved in something that is stereotypically feminine, that accusations is the wrong word, but association with being queer is sure to follow.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that's yeah. And it's also the thing is like a lot of people, like I'll see them in YouTube comments. People are very wild on there, but they're always like, "Are you gay?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, but like I don't." Like, who are you to me right now? I'll get that. Yeah, I'll get that on live streams. I get that so often. But the thing is like in the crochet world, I wouldn't say it's like it's. You're normally right to assume like a lot of the men in there are gay. Like all my friends, like the male crocheters that I know, a lot of them, probably like 95% queer in some kind of way. So. And then the ones who are straight male crocheters, they get riled up because of it.
Yeah. Do people just assume that even the straight ones are gay?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I mean. They get really annoyed by it. They're like, "No, I'm not."
Yeah, yeah. That must be frustrating to have to like feel like you have to defend yourself or prove that you're not gay or something just because you crochet.
Like if you crochet like I don't know a Tonka truck or something, does that?
Yeah, crochet is like a soccer ball, or I don't know what you can do to prove how straight you are.
There's one guy at the moment, and like I love like his content's really good and stuff. But he's like at the moment he's like just stepped into the crochet scene, learned how to crochet, making a lot of fun content. But it's all about like very much gore and weapons.
Oh,
interesting.
And things. And so like. I think because he's gone down that path being like, I made this, I don't know, ninja star and stuff. And like the videos are always like very gory, but yarn. I think it's because it's in that kind of weirdly violent, aggressive humor realm. You're automatically like, oh, he's straight.
Yeah.
Which is just interesting. Like, whereas all the men will be like, I'm making cute dolls, or I made like a nice vest for myself. And he's like, I made an axe. Like, okay. Like, you didn't need to go that hard on that, but whatever. It's
yeah.
And that's not to say is like content, not to say anything negative about his content. It's just interesting. It's a viewpoint that I definitely notice. And I don't know like if you need to make that many weapons to prove that you're straight in the crochet world.
Yeah. Do you feel like your gay identity is important in your crafting like identity? Like, do you bring that into it, or are these two separate things that just happen to coexist?
I think nowadays they just happen to coexist. Okay. I think when I first started Crochet Me Zaddy, I really was trying to figure out like what my pillars of like my identity and whatnot in my account were, and I really was leaning into I'm a gay crocheter, I make things gay, or like when I made those Pokemon and things, I was making gay Pokemon because I wanted to really like insert a part of myself.
Yeah.
So there was definitely a lot more, like even my content back then was like a little bit more like jokey and flirty in that kind of way, and I really wanted to play on that in some ways, but nowadays I'm not really bringing it in as much. Like I made like my little gay chameleon because I wanted to celebrate Pride.
Oh,
so I made a little it's a little cutie. It's a chameleon that you can like change the sweater colors to be whatever flag color you want it to be.
Oh, that's adorable.
So so I think when it comes around to Pride, I get really lean into it a bit more, but nowadays I don't do it as much. But yeah, I think initially there was a bit of a push towards it, because I think when I first started on TikTok, I was trying to link up with a lot of other kind of gay creators who had hobbies or something to talk about. Because I think, did you have Fossil Daddy on here? I saw he followed you. Yeah. So I was like following accounts like that. I was like, oh, gays who have a niche.
Yeah.
Mick Gaston, the plant gay. Like there's.
Yeah. Speaking of Pride, is it in Melbourne? Is it in February? Sydney Pride is February, right?
Yeah, we do. We get like multiple prides. It's great. It's we get, because Pride for global Pride is in June. That's deep into our winter times, and it's freezing here in Melbourne, or just generally Australia, New Zealand. And so they're like, oh, we may as well do Pride at this, like, towards the end of summer when it's starting to cool down and whatnot, or even middle of summer. So it tends to be in February, yeah. And they do a big week of celebrations and things. So, and then it comes to June anyway, and we do it again.
Is it too early to have a plan? Do you have plans already?
I am hoping to somehow. I've started connecting in with Instagram and things, and I want them to send me to the Sydney Mardi Gras March, and I want to be walking in there with a little crochet-made vest, little rainbow thing, something like that. I really want to do something like that. Are you talking about like plans generally or crochet plans?
Both.
That's a bit of
Yeah.
a mixture.
Yeah.
That's what I would like to do because I want them to send me, so I don't have to pay for it myself.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Because it is expensive. But yeah, generally I want to do like a little Pride plushie if I'm talking about my own business stuff and try like celebrate it again. And
So if you're going to start from zero and make an outfit to march in, how long would it take you to crochet that?
oh god. So the one that I'd have in mind is the little mesh tank.
Mm-hmm.
And I have made them before and they don't take too long. They're probably like 7 hours, if that. Mm-hmm. Just swapping up the colors and things, and because they're quite gappy, so it's not like there's not actually that much. You're not like trying to make a fabric as much. So you're not trying to make a fabric, trying to make a mesh fabric. So there's a lot of room, not a lot of stitches.
Yeah.
We have to talk about the Tom Daly effect.
Yeah.
Do you know him? Have you hooked up? Do you get like an automatic hall pass because you do similar things?
I have wanted to connect with Tom Daly because the only difference is that he's an Olympian.
Right.
I could have done that if I continued in my sporting life from when I was 10 years old. But no, we haven't connected as such. He does have his like craft page, which sometimes reshares my content.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Without asking. Notably so. And I'm always like, Tom, I don't know if I should like call you out on this one. But anyway, no, but the Tom Daly effect, I like going off those comments before about people being like, oh my God, it's so nice to see like a man crocheting. The only other person they can connect to is normally Tom Daly. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Or they'll ask me like, have you seen this? And I'm like, yeah. Like, I'm gay and I do crafts as well. Tom is... we're equal parts.
Yeah. Do you think he's inspired more people to like seek out crafting or crochet or knitting or anything? Like, have you seen people inspired by him come to your page?
I think he has, because like the image he puts out there is, it's not only that you could like do crafts and things. I think the way that he's doing it is he's sitting there off to the side of a sporting event and he's like chilling out during the activity and crafting while it's happening, which is what a lot of people do crafts for, is to kind of have like something to like fiddle with their hands while something else is going on, like TV, movie, or a sporting match. And I think for me, because he's been so visible doing that in these places, being able to multitask and work on a project while being attentive, I think he's really shown that people are like, oh, I could do that while I'm at work or in a meeting, or so I think he's had a definite impact of that like image of him at the Olympics because of that.
Yeah, I mean, the other option of like doing something on your phone while you're watching TV, or doing something while you're watching TV or whatever, is like being on your phone. And crafting seems like a more productive and like less kind of...
It's like a fidget spinner.
Brain.
It's a fidget spinner, but you have something to show for it when you're doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. And you get a little bit of serotonin boost at the end of the episode, and you're like, look, I made a little, I don't know, what is this? A chili. Like...
Do you do commissions? Do people ask you to do things for them?
Originally, I did, but then I wasn't enjoying it as much because I didn't have some like the creative control. Yeah, so it was kind of fun to be like, oh my God, I got an order, I get to make, I don't know, Jigglypuff or something like that. But then after a while I realized I was like, okay, it's too much effort for someone else, and so I started doing the designs. And so my whole business is more about making the designs and selling the instructions on how to make what I've made as well at home.
I mean, part of what you're describing is really impressive, of just setting up your own business and running a business, you know, regardless of the type. That's really, how did you make that transition from working a job over to having this be your income?
Honestly, I've just been chasing the fun. I've just like, if I find something's not being fun for me, then I need to stop it. I need to cut that out and find something else that is worth my time in a way. And so I was working corporate for so long, and it was mainly because I was on TikTok and I was making connections on there with a bunch of different people, and we're doing live streaming, and I started seeing people coming in and like wanting to support me as a creator on there. So that's kind of where it really started showing itself as a potential. Then I started doing the customs and things, and so it was like live streaming and custom orders was like my main two things. And then it was only until my partner now, he was like, those are good ideas and whatnot, but they're not gonna really, it's not like a long-term solution, because the thing is when I'm not doing a live stream, then I'm not earning money. And then if I've finished a plushie, I'm not earning from that again either. So there was nothing like renewable about it. So that's why I've now swapped to doing the instructions and YouTube and like just uploading a fun little vlog, and people can watch it in their own time and stuff. And I can sit back and make coin.
I thought you were going to say he said that you can't possibly pay the bills this way, and so then you built this success out of spite once again.
No. This one was out of spite. This one was a nudge of encouragement in a direction that would make more sense. And I was like, thank you, you smart, delicious man.
What's the difference between TikTok audiences and YouTube audiences?
That's also a very good question. I think TikTok is the kind of content in both social medias is very different. I think in TikTok you need to be really personality based and like be constantly having a conversation with people. But I found on TikTok a lot of people would be going after that kind of parasocial relationship. And they'd be really wanting to connect with you as a creator. Whereas YouTube, people are more after information of sorts. There's sometimes that parasocial relationship part as well, but
do you get any negative comments on your social media platforms?
Yeah.
Does that just come with
I normally engage with them because I think they're funny.
Okay. What kind of criticisms or negative things do people say?
There was one I posted on my threads the other day. What did they do? They were like, I actually cannot remember. Most of the times if someone's like criticizing me or something that I've worked hard into, or like they don't understand what it is and I clap back in a very funny way, I'll screenshot my clap back and post it on social media as well. And then I'll let my audience go find them and hunt them down. It's very like Drew Afualo. Yeah, but with like negative comments and things, normally I want to take control of the conversation. So I will get myself into the conversation and work it in my favor in some kind of way.
That's smart.
Don't piss off Zach's army.
No, I learned that from the Kardashians. The Kardashians, if they get bad press, they're in their bad press taking control of the narrative. And I was like, you ladies are smarter than you like portray on media.
Yeah. What else did you learn from the Kardashians?
that was pretty much it.
That was it? Okay. That's fair.
That was actually something that someone else pointed out to me about them. And I was like, oh, fun theory.
Yeah.
So what's next for you? What's the future look like? What's your 5-year plan?
My 5-year plan? Oh gosh. I think because only recently is that I've actually gone full time, since like June, July this year is when I actually took the step to quit everything else and do this. Like before that I was doing like 2 years as like working in a pizza restaurant, which is fun, but wasn't the end goal. That was only just to like supplement doing this. I mean, I do have other things on the horizon, which I'm yet to announce in the coming weeks.
Great.
When does this episode come out?
Thursday. So
This Thursday.
don't drop
Don't
anything.
announce. Okay, cool. Watch the space. But there's a very big shift that's coming up, which will be very, very fun and exciting for me. But that's also going to play into a lot of the stuff I'm doing now, with creating my plushies and stuff. And I'm just very excited to create my little crochet plushie dynasty or company of sorts, and just kind of grow it out, flesh it out a bit more, because right now it's just kind of me hanging out and doing vlogs and things, but there's more to come.
Do you think you'll ever get tired of crocheting and creating plushies?
Yeah, I think the honest answer is yes, but I think that's the same for a lot of like content creators out there, or anyone in any kind of job, is that I think there's a it gets to a point where you recognize that it's probably become too much.
Yeah.
At the moment, love it. So
Okay.
much fun. But I think realistically, like if I was going to be doing this for, I don't know, however long, it's going to shift and change with the times. And I'm going to shift and change my interests as a person. But I think I've got a pretty good legacy that'll hold on strongly for many, many years to come.
Yeah. Do you have other crafting ideas, like other things that you would do if it wasn't what you're doing right now?
That is, you know what? I have no idea what they would be, but I think that's something. Like I think I would definitely be doing something more hands-on, regardless if it was crochet or what. I realized soon into getting into my corporate life that I was not destined for sitting in the office at the computer and, I don't know, emailing.
Yeah.
I realized that I was like, okay, I need to be out there or being online in some kind of way and talking to people and whatnot. And
Being a content creator seems exhausting, though. It seems like a lot of work.
tiring.
Yeah.
It's so, like, it's fun. It's definitely a very fun thing, and you don't want to take it for granted, but like there's always something to do. You can always be online. You could always be responding to comments, creating new content, trying to figure out what your old content was like and how you can improve it for more content. And it's just like, it's this constant thing going on. And then also when you're doing like a certain niche that requires you to actually sit down and take time and create something, you're just trying to juggle all these different ideas and what to actually film and portray. And yeah, it's a lot. Like, I mean when you guys first reached out to me, I was still doing my podcast at that time.
Yeah.
And that was like a lot of fun, but that was a big learning curve for me, realizing that like that was a lot of effort goes into making a podcast, like the editing and things.
Yeah.
And just it's so much work. So kudos to you guys for really sticking to it. It's a lot.
Mostly we just pay Derek. And
You know, I didn't have anyone to pay. But like I've had to put mine on pause for a moment while I work on these other big plans, and like I'd love to come back to it. I think for me it was just like, this is too much in addition to everything else that's going on. And whew.
Do you ever crochet things just for yourself, or is it always you're creating some kind of content out of it?
That's the thing, is like it really bubbles over, because this used to be just like a thing that I'd do in the evenings and chill out and just be like, this is a cute time, I can watch a movie and whatnot. And then as soon as I started filming it, I was like, oh, I should be filming this one or filming that one, or like it's constantly when I'm crocheting I'm thinking about what kind of content I could make about it, and that doesn't really make it as relaxing as it should be.
Yeah.
So I took up knitting as my own thing.
oh, okay.
Knitting
So
is
not that different,
right.
but knitting's my hobby. Crochet is my job.
Interesting. Okay, you're diversifying.
Yeah, so like I will be playing with all the fun plush yarns and things, and when it comes to the evening, I'll crack out my little vest and just sit there and knit and not think about it, because I'm like, this is for me, and I take a lot of charge in doing that. And
Yeah, that's nice to have a hobby that's just for yourself and not, for content creation, not for
occasionally
socials.
I'll share it online, but that's just like anyone who would share their own hobbies online.
If somebody wanted to get started, they just have never touched this world at all, what would your recommendation be?
I think the best thing to do, like I go off the start that I had, which was just find any ball of yarn, a 4mm hook, and go learn how to make a granny square. Just a perfect little square. And that's where you learn how to hold a hook, how you learn to do basic stitches. And then once you've got the hang of that, you can then just go into any area you wanted to, whether you want to make clothes, whether you want to make plushies, anything like that. But like, that's the basics. Bella Coco is a really good tutorial.
Is that a person? A channel?
She's a YouTuber.
Okay. I didn't know either.
The Bella Coco. She's like the school of crochet. There's a few people out there, but she was I come from the school of Bella Coco.
Okay.
It sounds like a drag house.
It does.
I know. House of Coco. Oh, actually, fun fact. The one time I did drag, I was in the midst of like getting started into crochet, and I decided to use one of my crochet pieces as like a fascinator.
Okay.
So I had this little, I was meant to be like a pumpkin girly. I don't really know what my vibe was, but pumpkin girly, and I had this little pumpkin with little like green tentacles, which was like the vines, and so I just like popped it on there and cute
I
little
love it.
crochet mixture.
That's amazing.
Which I'd love to do again in the future sometime, and I've been thinking about that a lot more lately, but it seems on theme for the Gayish podcast.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Where can people find you and follow you?
You can find me on pretty much any social media at Crochet Me Zaddy. Sometimes it's crochet.me.zaddy, but otherwise it's all one word. It's pretty easy. No one took the name.
Nice. Cool.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for talking us through
Oh,
crochet.
thank you for having me. This was lovely. Are you guys going to get into crafts? Are you going to continue on knitting?
Well, now that I know that I haven't crocheted before, just knitted terribly, I'm going to have to.
I've done cross stitch during COVID. That was my like pick up a COVID thing and do like cross stitch. So I should pick that back up. I've started doing a rainbow middle finger that is made out of the words "fuck you." Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I have that like halfway done. So I should pick that back up and finish that.
Yeah, absolutely. Get right into it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you
Yeah.
so much for being on and sharing more about your channel and your journey and everything.
No worries. Pleasure to be here.
Should we take a break?
Yeah, let's take a break.
Let's take a break.
Break.
This is the part where Mike and Kyle take a break.
Are we back?
We're back.
We're back.
We're going to do our Gayest, Straightest.
We're going to do our Gayest, Straightest, but first, local gay bar review.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I'm going to talk to you about Infinity 88 in Bangkok, Thailand.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a snack bar and karaoke spot.
Snack bar?
Yeah.
Huh. That sounds like up my alley.
It was my first stop in this gay-ass alley called Salam 4. Mm-hmm. There was a beer special. It was 89 baht. I don't know how much that is, but it was very cheap. But they made me sit outside, and it was hot.
Oh.
And it was 6 p.m. on a Friday, so it was dead. Things hadn't picked up yet.
Oh, yeah.
But there were lots of tiny little bars, all of them gay, down this alley. And this was just like one. And I think that I got to sit and watch it sort of fill up over the couple of hours that I was there. And that little alley is really cool. Salam 4 in Bangkok, everybody, if you go, it's fun. 2.5 dildos.
Great. Do we want to do... Oh, what?
Our website
Yeah.
is gayishpodcast.com.
We are on social media at Gayish Podcast, or you can go to gayishpodcast.com/contact to figure out where to find our Facebook group, our Discord, all the other ways to get in touch with us.
Our hotline. You can send us text messages or leave us voicemails. It's 5855-GAYISH. That's 585-542-9474. Standard rate supply.
Our email is gayishpodcast@gmail.com.
Our physical mailing address, Post Office Box 19882, Seattle, Washington, 98109. Fill our box with crochet dicks.
And remember, if you want to support us, go to patreon.com/gayishpodcast. You can join for just $2 a month.
Yeah, do it.
Gayest and Straightest?
We can do our gayest and straightest.
Okay, I'll go.
Okay, go.
My gayest is I went on a date with a guy and ended up at a leather social event. Sure. On accident.
Yeah.
I had no idea the event that was going on.
Started
that
out
night.
gay and it got gayer.
And it got gayer. Well, I gave him a hug and he was wearing a leather harness underneath. And I was like, oh, what you got in there? He was like, well, it's a leather event. So just in case so he came prepared.
A just in case harness. That's,
Yeah.
that's pretty gay.
Yeah, that is pretty gay.
Great.
My straightest is that I wear an Amazon brand hoodie everywhere I go.
Oh, well, sure.
Yeah. It's not just from Amazon. It is Amazon branded, like their Amazon Basics,
Yeah.
which that's pretty straight.
I mean, basic AF, but
I'm Soup's
it's,
Basic.
it's doing the job.
Yep. It's hoodieing me. So that's all I need. What about you?
Well, the straightest thing about me this week is thinking through whether I could use the Jeep to tow a U-Haul.
Oh.
And looking up the specs and thinking about, like, I would have to back that trailer up
Oh, yikes.
here in the building to get it to the storage unit. Anyway, I just, like, I was geeking out about trailers this morning, which is weird.
Yeah.
But then the gayest thing about me this week is I found our nightstand / naughty box moving. My goodness.
Yeah.
So many dildos sent to me by listeners. But
Not crochet ones.
not crochet ones, real dildos.
just real dildos.
Yeah, and like lots of toys and lube and like just a collection of nasty stuff.
Yeah, nice.
Found it.
Yeah, I love it.
We have a listener's Gayest and Straightest.
Yeah. This one is from Spencer from Canada.
Spencer from Canada.
What's up?
Hi guys, this is Spencer from Canada. I wanted to call and submit my Gayest and Straightest for the week. My straightest of the week is that I have very few towels, and the few towels that I do have probably should be cleaned more than I clean them. And this morning my towel was a little funky and I still used it. And I guess that feels very straight. I don't know. And then my gayest of the week is kind of me, but also kind of how much I love a gay thing, is the very scary Delta intro spiel she does is just absolutely fantastic. I mean, spooky ooky. I absolutely love it, especially during October. So thank you guys. Love the show. Keep doing what you're doing. Bye.
Anything dirty laundry related is automatically straight.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially the my towel was a little past its prime and I still use it. Yeah. Well, thanks for calling in.
Yeah.
Call in and leave your Gayest and Straightest on our voicemail.
Thanks to everybody who is with us right now.
Yeah.
And thanks to Zac Doar.
Thanks to Zac Doar for teaching us a little bit more about crochet. Thanks to everyone who crafts.
Got it.
What did you think I said?
Craps.
Oh, thanks. Well, thanks to if you crap. Hey, thank you too. And also thank you to our super gap bridges. Thank you to Locomotive, Kaylee Adams, Kit Oliver, Kobe Gordon, Squoggle, Pip, Andrew Bugby, William Bryant, John Crowley, Yost Osel, Jonathan Montanius, Forrest Nail, Steve Douglas, Explosive Lasagna, Michael Covington, Just Jamie, Thomas B, Dusty Sands, A. Coleman, Chris Cacciatorians, and Jerome York. Thank you for your support.
Thank you for your money. That's it. This has been Gayish from the Chris Cacciatorian Studios. I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Getz. Until next week, be butch, be fabulous, be you. See you next week.
Hooker. Because crochet with a hook.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Or that's also a rugby thing, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Gay or straight.
Yeah.
Whatever you want it to be.
Whatever you want it to be.